Hey guys, it's Mr. Mock, and I wanted to go over and how to factor a trinomial with you. So this is topic 7.5? 7.4? What topic is it? Nice way to be prepared, Mr. Mock. It is 7.5, all right? So it's topic 7.5, factoring a trinomial. Basically what you're doing is you've got this trinomial. You have your x squared, the negative 11x plus 10, and we want to break it down so that it is two binomials, all right? So it's going to look something like this, all right? A binomial multiplied by a binomial to make a trinomial. And now we start by looking at this very first term. What two numbers multiplied together gives you x squared? Well, that's going to be x times x. X times x will be x squared. From there, you look at the 10. And you want factors of 10 that will add up to negative 11. So you want two numbers multiplied together that will give you a positive 10. But when you add those two numbers together, it gets you negative 11. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can list multiples over here. You could say, so I want a positive 10, so that could be as easy as 5 times 2, 5 and 2. And then 5 plus 2 is 7, not negative 11. So 5 times 2 is 10, but when you add them, that's not negative 11, right? So now it's like kind of a puzzle. So you want to think of what factors of positive 10 could add to negative 11. So what numbers add to negative 11 that also multiply together to be 10? And for me, I'm thinking, well, 10 and 1 multiply to 10, but 10 plus 1 doesn't add to a negative 11. If they were both negative, though, negative 10, negative 1 makes a positive 10. Negative 10, negative 1 makes a negative 11 when you add them. So what you end up getting is you take that negative 10 and that negative 1, and then you put them in for the other part of each of those binomials, right? Because you know that we use the distributive property. If I wanted to simplify this out or write it in expanded form, you do x times x is x squared, x times negative 1 is negative x, negative 10 times x is negative 10x, and negative 10 times negative 1 is a positive 10. And then in the middle, you'd be left with negative x minus 10x, which gets you back up to that negative 11x. All right? So this is the factored form of the x squared minus 11x plus 10. And I know part of you was thinking, well, what does that mean? Well, we're getting to that. It's another section coming ahead. All right? So now let's go to this one. Okay? So I have my trinomial. It's an x squared again. I love that. That just means first part of each of those binomials is going to be an x, because x times x is x squared. And so now I'm looking at negative 10, two numbers multiplied together that give me negative 10, but then add up to a positive 9. So again, 5 and 2 don't get me anywhere near 9, but when I have a 10 and a 1, a 10 and a 1 can get me to 9, right? But I need a negative 10, I need a positive 9 for the sum. So my thought is, if I do a positive 10 and a negative 1, positive 10 times negative 1 gives me a negative 10. Positive 10 minus 1 gives me a positive 9. Okay? And again, you use the distributive property to check. You should always check x times x is x squared, x times negative 1x. That's going to be a positive 10x, and then a minus 10, which then gives you that right back up to this part. So you should always be checking your answer because it's easy to do. It's algebra. You just work it backwards. There should be no reason that you get these problems wrong. All right? So that was topic 7.5, factoring a trinomial. All right, guys. Hope that helps.